T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, you're now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to the Tuesday bi-weekly segment, Fat Snake Tuesdays. I'm your boy MJ, and of course, next to me is the real Snow King, aka Eric Lee.
What's up, guys?
What's up, dog? How are you?
Yeah, how you doing?
Up in your hand, man. Did you get bit?
Hassling.
Man, we just got done, I guess, organizing our holdbacks, or I guess what you're taking and what I'm taking out of the amazing 38 or 36. What did it come down to? 36. Beautiful 50% Calatoa super dwarf reticulated pythons. I mean, come on, let's talk a little bit about it, man. What do you think of the clutch? I mean, I'm pretty fucking floored over it.
No, they look amazing. The tigers look ridiculous. I actually like the tigers a lot.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Because, listen, respectfully, I get my first pick and then Eric gets his pick. And I kept noticing Eric was picking tigers. And I was like, holy shit, Eric. I was like, you're looking okay. But I saw that you're admiring a lot of tigers in that clutch.
Yeah. Tigers are cool. I mean, they're different. And they're not anything like crazy gene-wise, but just like killer-looking tigers are killer tigers. So
yeah,
sometimes it's not like about, crazy gene combos. It's just really nice-looking animals or nice animals, regardless of whatever your combos are.
Yep, 100%. So, guys, stay tuned. Be on the lookout because at some point I'll be putting out a vlog as far as what we hit, and I'll probably be getting pictures from and videos from Eric Lee, so you guys can know exactly what we hit with out of this clutch, man. And just so you guys are curious what the pairing was, do you remind me, please? I'm so sorry.
50% Calatoa Marble Tiger Head Anery from Sal, and then 50% Calatoa Platinum Head Anery from Andrew.
Right. So there you go. Stand by, guys. Amazing stuff to be shown. And also, this is your first time tapping in. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're on top of every single reptile podcast I drop here on this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is all about admiring, keeping, and breeding reptiles. I bring some of the best in the game. I'm lucky to have some of the best sitting next to me. So, yeah, man, strap on, be ready to go because this shit is going to be quite a bit of a ride. We have, man, who's in front of my house right now? I'm sorry. But we have quite the interview tonight with Andrew Stamm, well-known Mainland reticulated python breeder, also soon to be Mr. Megaconda. How do you feel about that, Eric? Megan says she's gonna give me $100 every time I say that. No, she didn't. But anyways, what do you know about Andrew?
Cool dude. Met him a couple times. Had Tinley. Had some really nice projects going with OGS and Marble and stuff like that. Yeah.
I too had the pleasure of meeting Andrew at a couple shows already. All through Megan, of course, and I appreciate just them two in general. They're just really two awesome people. But I've had sit downs with Andrew and after Tinley's, Arlington's, and whatnot, and it's really cool to kind of see people like, okay, you could admit that keeping Mainlands isn't for everybody, obviously, right?
Definitely.
But the people who've been doing it for years in and out kind of shows like a dedication towards it, right?
Yeah,
and,
sure.
And Andrew, every time he sends me pictures and shows me pictures of what he has going on,
it's
second to none. Like he's on like him and Shane are like I don't think of anyone else who's obviously there's Aubrey too. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying it's a handful. It's not a lot.
Yeah. And
it's cool because we got one of these out of the handfuls that's sitting down with us tonight. So guys, thank you again for being here. I appreciate all the love and support. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Freedom Breeder, #1 stainless steel RHACS made in the United States and globally known. People all over the world have stainless steel. Freedom Breeder RHACS. And I just want to say shout out to Jesse. Shout out the entire Freedom Breeder crew. And if you guys didn't already, make sure you guys go to Freedom Breeder's YouTube. Okay, head over to Freedom Breeder's YouTube. Check out the recall that they're doing on one of their rodent racks, just because Freedom Breeder is known just by many things, but they're also known to take care of their customers. So for anyone out there who's heavily invested in Freedom Breeder and might have one of these racks, I need you guys to head over to Freedom Breeder's YouTube, channel. Watch that video that Jesse put out on the recall. Okay, crazy. This is the very first recall they've ever had out of the fucking 30 plus years being in business. But either way, still the number one stainless steel rack in the game. That's Freedom Breeder, the OGs. Thank you so much, Jesse, and the entire Freedom Breeder crew. And then also can't help but to give my boys mad props over at Sim Container, because we hatched every single one of these Super Dwarfer ticks out of a sim box, and that's a fact. So shout out to John. Dude, John's been pumping out them Sim Containers. If you guys gotten some Sims into your collection recently, drop a comment. Let me know if you guys are winning with the Sims, okay? So shout out to John, shout out to Alex. Other than the Sim Container guys, they have an amazing monitor program going on for all their projects. Super inspiring. I'm not gonna lie, biggest reason why I'm so head over heels over monitors is because of Sim Container, and that's a fact, okay? Along with many other legit monitor breeders I was happy to make friends with over the last couple of years. But either way, man, shout out to the OGs of the game, Sim Container, and what's good? Who's here? Who's ready to rock and roll? I know we're gonna have a good time tonight. Oh yeah, by the way, give me a follow on Instagram, TrapTalkGod619, and then make sure you follow Eric Lee on Instagram, which is SD Snow King.
Yep.
Right? It's SD_Snow King, right?
_ Snow King, yeah.
Okay. And that's where you mainly update people with anything that you got going on.
Everything I post nowadays usually on Instagram.
All right. And, for anyone out there who like to favor one platform over the other, Facebook, people can reach out to you too?
Yep.
Okay. And that's just Eric Lee on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Early Birds, who's in the building? Look who it is. Good old Chip. Chippendo for Shindo. What's up, Chip? Thanks for being here. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Mike Hobson in the building. What's up? I don't know what that means. Bods Exotics Reptiles in the building. What's up, Jeremy? Thanks for being here. AJ Johnson in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Go get my homegirl follow on Instagram. Oh, we got trouble. It is Mrs. Megaconda. I'm gonna ask Andrew if he's gonna hyphen at least his last name. I would hope so. If not, I understand. Megan's a baddie, and I'm just saying I don't want to call her a bitch because she knows she could be one, and I'm just gonna leave that to Megan. But Megan's the real deal, Holyfield. So either way, I love that you're here, Megan, and I love that you're with Andrew. What a couple. Blunt Man Reptiles in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Joe DeStefano in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member. The homie Jake. JK Reptiles, man.
Hello, Jake.
Another guy we're going to be bringing on the show at some point. Another part of the handful of greatness working in the mainland reticulated pythons for sure. I think I already talked to you about Jake, obviously. So, Jake, be ready. It's going to go down. And give my boy Jake a follow, JK Reptiles on Instagram. The homie Villarino Reptiles. I'm not going to lie, man. I wish this guy didn't live in Florida because I think he'd be perfect for the SD Retic game. Just the way I see him move with ball pythons and his projects in general. We need people like you in the SD game, Emilio, but I know you Floridians love Florida. I don't get it. That place is nuts. The homie Diego. What's good, Diego? Cruz Family Reptiles. This is my little right hand. He ain't little. He's taller than I am, and he can probably whip my ass, but it's my boy right here, Diego. Shout out to the homie who comes down and helps me out whenever I need it. You're my dog. We need to hang out soon, that's for sure. The homie Jordan from Heartland Reptiles, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thanks for being here. The homie Wes in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. We got Sweden in the house. What's up, Eclipse? Trap Talk Global Patreon member in the building. JKJ Reptiles. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Then we have the Misty Rainforest homie in the building. What is good? Blake. So can barely hear the other. I'm not gonna lie. That's always the case with you, buddy. That's always the case. But let's get this taken care of right now. All right, Eric, say something.
You hear me?
Can you guys hear Eric better? And I don't mind. Please speak up. If you can't hear the homie in the army shirt, this army colored shirt, then say something. I'll turn it up. Thank you for the feedback. Let's see. Bosa Ball's in the building. What is up? And I'm actually. Oh wait, hold on. Homie Shane in the building.
What's up, Shane?
Damn. Can we call Shane possibly the first celebrity appearance of tonight? In the Retic world, he's heavy, bro.
He is.
He is a heavy hitter, and he's in the building. Give it up, please. SE Constrictors in the house. Creative Reptiles, my homegirl in the building. What's up? Thanks for being here. SS for Luck in the building. What's up? The homie Big Ray in the building. Alluring Serpents. What is good? Lauren Morales, OG guy right here. This guy's a homie. He's been in the game for a while, and good to see you still popping your head in here, bro. Much love and respect. We're going to end it with the homie Lauren. And yeah, guys, please, the mics need to be turned up. Don't hesitate. But guys, it's game time. Bat Snake Tuesday time. Are you ready for this, Eric?
I'm ready.
All right. Andrew Stamm, a.k.a. Mr. Megaconda, coming at you right now. Let's go. Cheers. You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes, exclusive.
Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
And we are live with Andrew Stamm. What's up, Andrew?
What's going on, guys? Good to be here.
Shout out to Megan for saving the day. And
Yeah, I'm not an Apple guy, man. I'm learning. It's all right.
dude, thank you for being here tonight, man.
Thanks, man.
How's everything
Yeah,
going?
Excellent, man. Excellent.
Nice pussycat you got there.
Yeah, it's a new girl.
It's a hairless one, right? Or what are they
Yeah,
called?
this is an elf cat, Sphinx cat with
Oh,
she's
man.
been here about 6 months. She's doing great.
You have a cat, Eric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got them all, dude.
Dude, you gonna breed?
No.
Oh man, why not?
No, I got about a whole group of them all here, but yeah, they're wonderful, man. A lot
How
of
many
fun.
do you have?
I got 3.
That's it. Not every day you see. I mean, I'm sure there's cat people out there, but I'm more of a 3-dog kind of person. But I wouldn't mind having 3 of those cats.
I love dogs. I just don't have the time.
Oh man, gotta love it. But Andrew, listen again. Thank you for being here. I gotta say, it's cool to have someone on the other side of the table here when we can relate to, long-term mainland Retic keeping with and still having a good name behind it. You know what I mean? Because I think one thing I do want to do on this episode is just kind of give the limelight on something positive and just show people who are really, because at the end of the day, as much as there aren't a lot of people meant for Retics, there are people out there that are meant for Retics. There's still Retic people out there. But, the examples that are being set just are very shady lately. You know what I mean? So I just kind of want to know exactly the history behind Mainlands with you. And, you know what I mean? I kind of digged. You were like a Guido at one point. You were hot, bro. I'm not saying you're not hot now, but holy shit. Like, you looked like you worked at a club or something. So anyway, I just want to know how long Retics go in your life, man. I mean, I hear your name go back quite a bit, a few years, so let's talk about it.
2013, I got my first Retic at Tinley.
And what brought you to a Tinley?
I just knew that was the place to go if I wanted to buy a snake. So I just rolled in, didn't know anybody. And I was thinking about this earlier. When you're younger and I got a corn snake, then I got a ball, then I got a boa.
Okay.
And I never had any luck with any of those. And then that's mostly my fault. But when you're young, all you can think about is when I get my own house and my mom can't tell me what to do anymore, I'm getting a fucking Retic.
So that was already on your list.
The fucking minute I got an apartment, dude, and I had my own spare bedroom, I just got a Retic.
Shit, man.
And then I had 35 Retics within 12, 13 months of that, just loaded.
Damn.
And then I was like, this is way too much. But
What's the most you've ever gone up to, Eric? I mean, did you ever kind of get to that extreme where you're like, okay, I need to slow down?
Yeah, when I first got into it back, right before I left for the Army in 2004, I had probably 40, 50 Retics, probably 30-some scrubs and upper winds and all kinds of shit. I ended up selling my entire collection to a guy that was just getting out Army as I was getting in, so, well, but yeah. I guess mainlands are just way too much. Even when I was in Arizona, when I got out there in 2012, I ended up with probably like close to 40.
And I'm curious, Andrew, who was the first snake you got a retic from? Like who was that person at Tinley?
Chase Dells, Chasing Reptiles was his company back then. He's into birds now. I don't think he breeds snakes anymore. I was talking to his father at Tinley. Really nice people. He just was small time breeder from Minnesota. Always had nice stuff. Got my first snake from him. It was a male lav tiger. I just thought, I'm gonna get a male because they stay smaller. I didn't know what I was doing.
I think
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think my second or third snake was an OGS female from Nerd. I bought it at Tinley, $6,000. I saved up all summer for that animal. And then, back when I had just a shit job and wasn't making any money, but I saved all the money for it. Walked in, did the deal through Chris Brown at Vital Exotics because he knew Kevin better than I did. And man, that was a crazy time.
Damn.
I don't think those kind of transactions don't really happen a lot anymore where people are spending big money at the shows, and that's kind of a shame. There's not a lot of snakes out there that are bringing that kind of value. There's a few people doing it, but not a lot.
I did realize this recently that there are people who could still get away with heavy sales on a retic if the buyer doesn't know shit. I just met somebody, not met, but I know this person, and he's like, "Yeah, man, let me know about when your babies when they're available." And I was kind of asking what he's looking for. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "I just dropped $3,500 right now." I was like, "Oh, what'd you get?" "You got a lavender Mainland." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What's in this snake?" He's like, "I've always wanted a Mainland." I was like, "Why?" I was like, "Who charged you this much money?" He's like, "No, hold on, it came with a cage." And I was like, "God damn, dude." I was like, "Okay." So I mean, it's you don't want to be that person, obviously, to bamboozle someone like that, but come on, a lot of people come up like that in the game.
It's bad though.
It is bad. It's not
It's dirty.
It is, and I told him, I was like, "Buddy, stop buying Mainlands right now, unless it's from somebody like,
Damn! Whoa!
No, not from this. I'm just saying from this whoever this person is who's really fucking taxing the shit out of you, But yeah. I didn't mean that. Sorry, Andrew. But okay, let's get back to what we're talking about, because I'm just curious on how you built the foundation period of what you have going on, because obviously investments were made. OGS from Nerd, that was probably the heaviest snake you very first bought, right? That was your first.
I was the second or third person to have one outside of Nerd. Shaden got one, and then Gavin, and then me. Yeah, so that was a cool feeling, being a nobody in the hobby at the time.
How quick did you start connecting with people as you were buying retics? Like, did you start doing your part in building relationships with well-established retic breeders at that time, or did that kind of just fall on
No, I met Shane at that show. I didn't know who he was. He didn't know me. And he was at the table, and I was picking out my OGS from like 5 different animals available, and Shane was sitting next to me. I didn't really know who he was. I thought I saw him on Facebook once, but I'm holding it, and he's kind of looking at me like, "Who is this tire kicker here holding this snake?" I'm the only one that has one. And Chris is like, Chris puts it in the bag. He's like, "All right, man, thanks a lot." And Kevin shook my hand, and Shane was like, "Oh, you bought that?" And then we've been friends ever since, because we just had common ground to talk about stuff. It was just interesting.
It's the beauty about what we do, right? It's kind of like, in the normal case, I mean, you don't meet friends like that at a grocery store, you know what I mean? Or even if you're out doing something you like for Eric Lee, it's throwing axes, like he likes fucking hammering the axes, right? What is that called? Axe throwing, right? Yeah. But even then, you're kind of doing your own thing. For the most part, unless you have your own company, that's something. But like at a snake show, you could literally become best friends with someone just by them watching what you're doing, and they ask a question, and it leads to more questions, and next thing you know, you're like, did we just become best friends? And dude, that's happened to me more than a handful of times in this industry, bro. I mean, dude, me and you got Megan a little jealous at one point, because you and I we fucking hit the ground running, buddy. You and I, man, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, I've met people in this hobby I've been at their kids' baptisms 2 years later. I mean, it just sometimes that's how it happens, and that's awesome. It's really awesome.
So, how'd you learn how to breed retics? I mean, you said you had a little bit of not problems, but you just never really did it with the corn snakes and the ball pythons. What made you get just down with the retics?
Honestly, I've never really had a good program for getting retics bred. I don't want to call it luck, but I've just fed them a bunch of food, put a male in there for a month. Literally, last year, I fed a female like 15 pounds of food, put a male in for 6 weeks. I wasn't even in town. I was gone. And I came home and he had nothing to do with her. I put her in his. Pulled the mail, and however long later, she's blown up like a balloon, and I got 69 eggs, 30 days.
69 eggs.
Yeah.
But what's the average mating clutch? I mean, that's a good number for a mating.
No, that's extremely large, even for a normal retic. That's a big clutch.
Because 50 is considered big.
50's big.
69.
She laid 38 the first year, 52 the next, and then 69 the third year after that. So it's continually gone up.
So my 50% Super Dwarf Calto, which is for sure bred by Andrew Acevedo, who's legit in the Super Dwarf game. She gave us.
Oh, Andrew's a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah, she gave us 42 eggs.
Well, if you think about that, that's more than half of what I got, and my snake's 5 times the size of yours. So really, that's not 69 is not a crazy number if you think of it that way.
The eggs are just huge, though. Mainlands compared to
but 42 eggs from a Super Dwarf is still a lot of freaking eggs.
We're talking softballs.
Oh, by the way, you brought up something on a podcast a few weeks ago, dissing my hometown, and we got to talk about it.
Eric, what happened? Eric, what did you do? Wait, me? RC Cola, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
Hold on. Okay, time out, buddy. Listen, if you want to go toe to toe on this, let's do it. RC Cola goes flat so easily. You know this.
But I'm going to drink it all right now.
Go. It's fine. Diet. I mean, well, back in the day, I didn't do any diet. Obviously, I drank straight fucking Coke and Pepsi. But
RC Cola is way better than Coke.
RC Cola was only a quarter in the machines, buddy. And when I was kind of like hurting out in the streets, rollerblading with all the homies, all I had was a quarter, so I had to drink that RC Cola.
That's what I'm saying. RC got you home, man.
It did, man. But at the end of the day, I cannot wait to go home and drink a real fucking soda. That's what I'm telling you, buddy.
Yeah, once I wasn't poor anymore, we bought Coke. Yeah.
No, but I gotta tell you too, like it was weird because back in the day, like I used to love Coke so much to where like I would want to drink it fast, and it would hurt, like because of the carbonation. Yeah. It would hurt my mouth, right? So I would kind of like it. It's gross to say, but I would like it a little flat, like so I can fucking cold flat. You know what I mean?
Chug it down.
Yeah, right. And you just can't do that with RC Cola. It's like it becomes water once it's flat. It's weird. But dude, I'm sorry, no disrespect. I'm
just fucking with you, man. I was thinking about that, so I grabbed some at the grocery store.
I thought you were gonna be like, hey, Jay's my best friend, man, and you just you've been destroying him lately. I'm just kidding. So,
hey, we're not getting into that, but I will.
God bless. I'm just kidding.
Jay's a wonderful guy.
Yeah, man. You know what? Humans are wonderful.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, let's check this out. Okay, so project-wise, okay, obviously the OGS was that female. The male was a lavender, just a lavender, right?
No, they were both. Oh, my first Retic, yeah, lavender tiger was my first mainland.
Lavender tiger, and that was the male doing work for you in the beginning. That was your very first.
I never bred that male.
Okay, so what male did you get for that OGS?
I never bred her. She was 8 years old the first time she bred because I had a couple of years of my life where things weren't really going well for me personally.
Yeah.
So I pulled back from breeding anything.
Uh-huh.
And I sent a lot of my bigger females down to Aubrey in North Carolina. I drove them down there.
Whoa.
And he put in a lot of work and got them literally tripled in size to where I went there. And I'm like, are these, what the no, he had like a pallet of extra pigs apparently to get rid of. And he just did a phenomenal job growing up my last couple of most powerful females and getting them bred. And we did a few projects together and they turned out really well. And that was kind of the beginning. We bred a purple marble motley to my OGS female. She was about 17 feet. She laid 50-something eggs her first clutch as well. Oh, so that made the double hets, marble motley double hets that we then used to make the snakes in the picture that you posted.
But you know that snake that gave you 69 eggs, who was the sire of that clutch?
The marble motley double het that me and Aubrey made down south. And I used a double het OGS purple female from Shane that's about 10 years old from a totally unrelated breeding. So that was nice. We made double hets from an old school OGS, and then we used those hets to make the double, to a new double het. So we didn't have anything close together. And I mean, my OGS is only first generation wild caught. Her mom was the original OGS from the wild, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you've ever seen that snake. It was like, it came in all bruised up and scarred from Nerd, and it lived there for a long time. It was a really beautiful animal. And that's what I attribute her just dirty old brown look to. She's got a very old school look. She doesn't look like any of the newer OGS stuff that's being made. And I like that.
I think one of the most crucial things anyone could do, no matter what they're working with in the reptile industry, is like making the connections with the right people, right? I mean, you got really awesome. You met Shane, but then Aubrey. How'd you get connected with Aubrey?
We met at a show, and me, Jake, Shane, Aubrey, Gavin, we all just hung out in groups. I met friends through other friends, and just networking and going to Tinley and stuff. I mean, Tinley is kind of the glue that brings Tinley brings everybody together, and then it's also kind of the glue that keeps everybody together. You see people there that you haven't seen in 6 months, and you just fall right back into it. It's really fun.
You got people that only go to Tinley's. Like, you just have people who will only show their faces at a Tinley. Mainly it's like East Coast, Midwest people who do that.
It's the Coca-Cola of the reptile shows, right? It's the best.
I like Pepsi over Coke. You're a Coke over Pepsi? Coke. I like Pepsi.
I went to my first Pomona show. That's where I saw Eric last time, and it was fun. It was interesting. Yeah. It's different.
It's West Coast show, right? I mean, yeah, it's definitely different because you can understand like what's making a reptile super show so packed are non-reptile people. It's like kind of just
it's a lot of moms and strollers that had the weekend off and need to leave, get out of the house. Yeah, it's a lot of that.
Yeah. It's California. You know what I mean? That's all there is around here. It's families,
Yeah, no, it's cool though. It's cool, but you're not going to sell big time retics there. You're not going to get a lot of people looking for that.
No, I mean,
I sold one snake.
Even big ball python people are like, it's not a bunch of people selling lots. Maybe one or two or maybe three who are pulling big numbers, and the rest are just. But I mean, that doesn't mean you shouldn't not go then. You could be a part of that. I mean, you just never know. How long have you been selling snakes at shows now, Andrew?
5, 6 years.
And what's the biggest sale you've ever had at a show that you can remember?
I've probably sold 40 retics in my whole life, maybe 50, not a lot. I've only produced 5 or 6 clutches in my whole career. Usually only make 1 clutch a year.
I think it's the move for me.
I think there's too many retics produced versus asses to fill the seats. If you ask me, it doesn't matter what they are. Super dwarf doesn't matter. I mean, super dwarfs make it easier, but I think there's too many retics produced year over year versus homes that are going to actually be able to keep them for 10 years successfully and healthy. Not just for breeding, but we need people that keep retics just for pets. Otherwise, the hobby won't perpetuate. You have no end game. If nobody wants to buy retics for their looks as a beautiful pet, then you can just keep breeding and breeding and breeding, and they're never going to go anywhere. They need to spill out into the end user that can just keep the animal.
How do you feel about that, Eric?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, production-wise, it's way over Mainland's SDs, and even, the way I look at it, probably less than 5% overall, whether SDs or even Mainlands, probably make it to like 2 or 3 years because they end up dying from shitty impulse buys or people that have no business owning them. Mainland's probably worse because you see people mass producing that shit on the regular, and you'll see it on the groups almost every week. Here's a Friday sale, Saturday sale.
There's a lot of sales going on. Yeah. A lot of blowouts. A lot of
blue light specials.
Which is like then you're just devaluing your product at that point. You're just telling me that you don't have anything special.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
but see, that's the thing. You even have that happening in the ball python game right now. Like, I see breeders just saying 50% off. Like once a month, they'll do 50% off, and it's kind of like a known thing for like what they're doing. And it's like, whoa, I can like slash in half only because they want to make much. They want to make room for the next shit.
But at the end of the day, that screws in anyone. If you're buying that 50% off whatever animal, by the time if you raise it to breed, it's not worth shit. Yeah. So if your business plan is to like mass produce it, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
There'll always be a market for purple golden childs at $450. Those snakes are just going to continue to bring that all day long. And there's guys that make those all year just to have that filler at the show to fill the spots, and they make money. Nothing wrong with it. But I still have babies from last year in my rack. Normals, Motley Tigers. They're all as my local reptile shop sells the stuff I've been bringing them, I bring more. I get a third or half of the value of what the animal is, and then they sell it retail, and then it goes to somebody that actually wants a retic. I don't cull snakes. I don't kill babies. I don't feed babies to monitors. I don't believe in that. A lot of people do that. That's the reality of having big clutches, especially with high-powered stuff. They want it they don't want it out in the public, which is understandable. So they'll just, they'll do. I'm not, they'll do what they need to do with it to get rid of it.
So, I mean, I want to ask the main influence behind you always wanting to do one clutch a year, because your first clutch was 5 years ago, and that's right before the Retic market went to where it's at right now. So you already had that game plan before the shitstorm happening with the market. But what was the influence behind that? Like, did you kind of just compute in your head like there's just not going to be enough people to take care of this many snakes, or what made you just always want to do one clutch?
I'm actually not really a super good retic breeder, for starters. I usually only get 1 or 2 females to go. I'm just simply too busy with my job, with my company.
Okay, that's cool.
But I also don't want to, which is symptoms of the same disease, right? If I'm so busy with work, I don't have time to sit on Facebook and peddle off snakes.
Yeah.
There's no time for that, to answer all those messages. And you have to talk to people if you want to sell retics. You have to be engaging. You have to answer their questions, and you have to do things properly, or you're going to have a bad rap. So I'd rather just keep it a little lower, not focus, because I don't care about the money. And one of the biggest things about retics, if you can not care about the money, you'll do better, because you're not thinking of it from an aspect of desperation, or what can I get to cover my food bill.
Yeah, and all that shit just leads to it not being fun. Like at the end of the day, we all got into this to have fun. Like, that was it's a ton of work. Keeping retics is a ton of work, whether they're big or small. They're very active. They don't leave them. They don't just sit in the corner. I mean, you can go on vacation with 100 ball pythons for 2 weeks and probably come back to not much chaos. Well, at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Like back when I was, you talk about how many did you get your first year? 30-something mainlands you got, right?
Yeah, but they were all small. I just was filling racks.
Bro, first year, that small's over. You know what I mean? And I got, shout out to Kenny. I don't know if you guys know Kenny, obviously, right? Cold-blood only Kenny from New York. Dude, I probably picked up at least 5 from him my first year. And there was all a game plan. I loved what Kenny was doing, so I was like, this is what I want. He's like, all right, bro, I got you. But mind you, I kept buying from other people because I was getting deals and shit like that. And some of these were also just, for the most part, hatchlings. But now I went from like 5 to 12. And then after that first year, I just started seeing how every tub was becoming way too small, way too quick. And then I was like, and guess what? I was barely keeping up with the food bill, bro. Like, I remember at that time, I was barely keeping up with food for these fuckers because I was feeding them every week. I thought, just like ball pythons. I'm talking about even while these motherfuckers became sub-adults and adults, I was feeding them every week. Okay?
Oh, yeah, I don't do that. Yeah.
I just didn't know. Like, that's
right.
why my super growth is humongous.
Right.
But also, feeding them is what calmed them down. I had some snakes that pushed, right? And I hated seeing that push. That pushing thing made me feel like a neglector. When I saw that, and I had
it's hard to look at, yeah.
I had a lot of people telling me, like, look, that comes with it. But I was like, nah, I get it comes with it, but I have to adjust something. And then like this super dwarf here, she was the worst pusher I had. And until I put her in the fucking, and it's not really huge now, but she's in an 8x3 by 3, and she never pushed ever again. You know what I mean? So then it just gave me that sudden feeling of like, holy shit, now I need like fucking 12 goddamn 6x3s or something like, and that's a lot of money, bro. Like, trust me, like now I just didn't line my fucking eggs in the basket well enough, and things got heavy, got scary. Luckily, I was able to get some enclosures that I wanted for most of them, but bro, like, it is work and a half, more than people understand, until those snakes go from babies to even sub-adults. You know what I mean? Because everything changes, bro. Their hunger, everything, like, it becomes more of a, like, this ain't like a little noodle no more. Like, this thing will hurt you, you know?
Yeah, I think retics are just to the point where I have retics in my house that are 12, 13 years old that I've kept since they were a baby. And they're maybe not relevant anymore genetically,
right? But
I still have them. And I think most people don't do that. They can't do that. Their life's get in the way. They have, some are excuses, some are valid. I don't usually believe, a lot of them are bullshit. Oh, I'm moving out of state, selling the whole collection. Unless you're moving to Florida, you're just a pussy who doesn't want to take care of your shit. That's really what it comes down to, in my opinion.
Guilty.
Like, You can't just buy 30 retics and then just expect to dump them off overnight. It doesn't work. It tanks the market if they're higher end animals. You're putting big snakes in some people's hands that just want a big snake that they found on Craigslist. Guilty. I adopted a 10-foot boa off Craigslist when I was a kid. I had no business getting that animal. It's a boa. It wasn't going to kill me, but I just wanted a big snake, and I was like 14 years old. So I thought it was cool. But now if you do that with a retic or something that's a little smarter, got a little more power behind it. So I see a lot of people, a lot of dabblers, a lot of people that get in and then get out. They think they're going to come in and make a lot of money, and it just doesn't work out.
Same as ball python.
Because those retics are still the piss and the shit is there every night when you get home from work.
Yes.
So if your life's already stressful, you don't get along with your spouse, you have a lot of kids, whatever the fuck it is, your job sucks, your boss is a dick, whatever. When you come home, there's still piss and shit in your snake room every night. And if you're not able to kind of push that to the side and keep cleaning and keep watering and keep whatever and keep feeding, and hopefully you make enough money at your job that you can feed the animals if they're not breeding. Because if $1,000 a month is a lot of money to you for food, and you got a lot of big retics, then you either don't make enough money in your job to be able to support your hobby, or you better start breeding rodents. But then you need to have a lot of time on your hands. So retics, as they get bigger, it's a lot of work. There's no way around it. But I like that. I enjoy that. Nothing exciting is easy. Anybody can stick ball pythons in drawers. I'm not anti-ball python, but it just doesn't. I don't see the value in it as far as like excitement. The animals are beautiful, but themselves they're kind of boring.
Are you gonna have?
What do you think about that?
Are you gonna have Megan get rid of her ball python projects when you marry her?
No, she's got only a couple. She enjoys them. Like I said, they're beautiful. They're unbelievable. The morphs are incredible. The snake itself just doesn't really excite me, but I don't really think it excites a lot of people.
We all have options in life. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, everything's a gateway in a sense, right? Like, I mean, you appreciate other species, but you're good with what you work at. The thing is, people like myself, I'm going to take the personality. So I'm like, well, I'm going to get because ball pythons was my foundation. It was never enough. Trust me, I get it. I know exactly what you mean. But I wanted something more than just pulling over a drawer and seeing something that's still in the same spot as it was 2 days ago. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Right.
Pet rock, and that's fine, but there's a market for that. But I wanted more responsibility, and so I kept thinking, well, ball pythons are this easy. This shit must be the same, but no. But as I was learning that, I just kept adjusting, man. And like I said, I wanted those retics so bad, and I just had to own up to how I wasn't a retic keeper, bro. Like I made a lot of mistakes. I had a fucking 10-footer get out and bust out of my house. My neighbor found it. Like, you want to talk about like not good examples? I was that person. But also what it mainly was just kind of like, that time right before I got rid of him, I started traveling with the podcast, and I was like, who am I going to put in charge of this shit when I'm gone? Like, I don't have any friends that I'm not. Like, my wife is my right hand fucking person for this room. So, and I'm like, and I don't like shit swimming in piss and shit. And you let that happen for a few days. Dude, we're talking bacteria shit. Like, it's not good. And those snakes will just sit there in it because they don't have a choice. They're, and you want to talk about walking into a room of death. Oh, my God. There's been times, bro, where I've gone on vacation when I had all these mainlands. And I'm talking about these motherfuckers must have shit right when I left. Like, I couldn't believe, like, I did everything. I fucking very last minute before I left, last water change. And then I came home like if it was someone's collection that just is not taken care of. You know what I mean? And it was like, what just happened? And
that's just the species. It ain't your fault. That's just the species.
Yeah, but then again, like if I'm going to be gone for that many days, I have to be. It's my responsibility to make sure that's taken care of, right?
Well, then if you're keeping on paper, you need to triple up your paper stack, so it can soak it all up, or keep them on wood chips, which I don't really care for. But however you do it, to where they can be fine for a week, because it's hard to find somebody you trust that can actually go in and give water to an 18-foot retic. And that they're not the person that's going to get rocked. I only know like 2 or 3 people that live near me that can even do that. And if they're busy with their lives, then I don't expect them to come here. So, it's good.
I give Megan props because she's like I said, I came in this game, money was very limited for me. First and foremost, wife was already helping me when I needed help. So everything I had to do came from like whatever I could scrounge my hands on. And I always did papers for the retics, right? Because paper always worked for me. but I was so cheap that I always used one paper per side, and that's why
that's not enough.
That's not enough. And so Megan, one time I saw Megan doing a story, and she had like fucking like 7 papers on one side. I'm like, what are you're wasting all that paper? She's like, nah. I was like, that's because she could, obviously anacondas too. Like they fucking when they go, they go. And so I was like, holy shit, they use this much paper just to make cleaning a lot easier. Because bro, I'm talking about I was shoveling, like I'm talking like canoeing shit and urates and all this stuff. Like I still have the spatula that I used to use. It's disgusting. I used to just be so mad. It would be going down my arm. You've had that happen where you're just.
Oh, it's gross. Yeah.
It's disgusting. Oh,
especially in California, it's hot out. Yeah, it's gross.
Eric, come on, that's nasty, bro.
Oh yeah. You get used to it though.
I mean, it's true. It's kind of like, what are you gonna do? But I feel like it's a lot easier when you're routine and you're picking it up as it's happening. You know what I mean? Which, have you ever had anyone help you out? Like, I know you're busy with work, but have you ever had anyone like take care of your shit while you're gone or anything?
Yeah, Jake's come by a few times. Shane's offered. And then I had a buddy that used to keep his ball pythons in my snake room and breed them in there.
Right.
And he had a key to my house, so he'd come. He lived down the street, so he'd come every couple of days, check water bowls and stuff. Because I used to go to Florida for 3 weeks at a time.
Right.
So he would, that there's no way you can leave him that long. But now I don't leave town for more than 2 or 3 days ever because of my new company. I just can't get away. So now it's not even a problem.
I got a question for you too. When obviously you guys saw something pivoting in the Retic market, did any of you like reach out and speak to other people and see exactly what was going on, or was this something that you guys kind of just expect in a day and age? What did you guys do about that?
No, I don't know, because I don't think anybody thinks they're wrong in what they're doing, and so a lot of them are wrong. Not necessarily my friends, but a lot of people will complain about what somebody else is doing, and then they'll go and do it, or they'll do something similar. Well, I don't like that guy's. He sold that thing way too cheap, and then a couple hours later, a similar snake comes down the line, and they're selling it for the same price. Well, I need my money. I got to pay for the booth, whatever the fuck. Nobody's really sticking to their values, and I don't know what's causing that. I think it's a lot of people a lot of people that sell retics need the money. They want the money. It's not a hobby for them. And the problem is money's great, but if you need it, you're going to take less every time. And if it's hard to sell a cow for $3,500 a couple of years ago when there's a guy blowing them out at $800 at the end of the table, at the end of the row. And the young people that are working hard but don't have a ton of extra money, they just want a cow. They're paying $800. They're not paying $35. They don't care about who made it. And once that bar gets super low, it's hard for it to come back.
Yeah, it's almost no coming back.
Yeah, it's not coming back.
Yeah,
no.
Which is why it's be careful with shit like that. I mean, let me ask you this, Andrew. You go to a show, you have something priced at X amount, and let's just say the 3 tables down the road they have it for half the price. What do you do in that situation? And let's just say you kind of say, let me just look on MORPH market or whatever. Let me just see where this is else's price, and it's also like lower that like there. Do you adjust, or do you just stand tall on your price? What do you do?
No, because my price is almost always better, but it's not. I think other people are super high.
Right.
And I'm not talking about brand new cutting edge stuff. I'm talking about genetics that have been out for 10 years and they're just molded together in my clutch, like purple, marble, motley. There's people that are trying to get $3,000 for that animal on MORPH market. It's just not worth that. It's a $1,200 animal. It's a beautiful animal. It's just not worth what some of these people are asking. And those snakes have been on MORPH market for 9 months, and I will get $1,200 at Tinley for the same animal. It's a fair price. It's not a hard snake to make. The harder scarcity creates value. The harder something is to make, the more people are going to pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, motley, a motley tiger used to be a $1,200 animal. It's not that anymore. It's never going to be that again. Even a purple motley tiger is maybe $800, $900 animal. It's a beautiful snake. A purple motley, I'm never going to take less than $500 for that animal, especially mine. They have bone white heads. They're gorgeous. I'm not taking less than $500 for that animal. But I'm not going to be ridiculous and ask $1,500 for it just because I think it's got a little better head than the rest of them. It's still just a purple motley. So I think some people are selling shit way too cheap, and other people's prices are through the roof. But I'd rather them be through the roof and not sell. At least they're maintaining their value and their image. So there's nothing wrong with asking more. If you can get it, God bless.
What do you, Eric, do in your case? Because I mean, you have plenty of conversations about this, and if you have that super high percentage morph comboed animal that takes years to make, right? Your price is always based off that. Is that how you really price a rare animal that you have that's a high percentage?
Depending on what it is, I mean, a lot of it, there's nothing comparable, so it's kind of like you're going to set the tone for everyone else. I could probably put it less and sell it really quick, but then I end up fucking everyone under me that has something comparable. Whereas most of the time, I'll sit on it because all the high percent stuff grows so slow. Like, if it doesn't sell within X amount of months or this, that, I'll just hold it back. So, like Andrew said, like, everything I produce, I have no issues just holding it. Like, I had holdbacks that were 3 years old that they didn't sell. I'm like, I don't care.
Right, you like the snake, and you made it, right.
I'm not making anything just for the fact that, I got to sell it. Everything I make is stuff I like, and if I sell the extras, great. If I don't, I'll use them down the road. It's not, like Andrew said, it's not like, I need the money right now, and you just roll it out for whatever somebody's going to offer me, So.
Yeah, if no one needed money for retics, then the values would be through the roof from 10 years ago. They never would have dissipated. Stuff would still be, but there's, you do see, a couple of years ago, there was guys selling cows locally. Nerd was still asking $5,000 for a cow 4 years ago. And there's guys at the local shows selling them for like $750, $800. They just made a whole slew of them, and they want them gone, and they want to make $3,000 on a weekend, and they want to go home. They don't care.
What's an SD cow going for right now?
The only ones I've known are the ones Garrett made, and I think those are 50%. Those were like $20,000, I think. That was like a few years ago.
Yeah, I heard he got 20-something grand for one of those. That's crazy.
What do you think of the super dwarf market, Andrew? If you don't mind us talking about like the comparisons right now. Now we're talking about something that was 5Gs a few years ago. Now we have a labeled super dwarf version of it selling for $20K. What do you think of that?
I don't.
Keep it real, buddy.
I don't know. I don't buy it. I think it's a little bit of snake oil. If you can get the money, great. But give me that snake and I'll make it 15 feet. I promise you that.
Yeah. I mean, shit.
Okay. And I also have mainland retics breeding in my other room in fucking CB70 tubs that are 7 years old. They don't breed in that. They breed in a 4-foot cage, but I could fit them in a CB70 if I needed to clean their cage.
Wait, hold on. Slow down. You have a mainland that's 7 years old that could live in a 4x2?
It's in one right now. It's going to breed this year. It's going to lay 12 eggs.
It's a female? It's just small?
Yeah, she's 6 feet, 7 foot. Just stick around. She didn't breed. She's never bred at my house. She bred at Shane's house a year and a half ago, and she laid 6 eggs in a CB70 tub.
Is she a rut? I'm just curious. Is this a rut? Does this happen in Retic clutches?
No, I got her from someone else years ago that I don't want to say underfed her, but just never had a use for her, so he held her back in a tub for years. And she just never got big. I'm not saying if I started pounding her with pigs, I think I could get her up to 10, 11 feet safely. It'd take a few years because you can hurt an animal that hasn't been fed hard, feeding it too fast. But most of my mainlands are in that 10 to 12 foot range, females laying eggs. And I think that's a sweet spot. It's a fun enough snake. You can have fun with that animal. It's impressive. It feels cool to take it out. But it's not so big that you're in danger of working with it by yourself.
Yeah, it's more practical. You look at most of the mainland guys back in 2012, back then everything was, I want an 18, 20-foot snake.
Yeah.
They slammed the fuck out of it with food. When the ban came out in 2015, most of the mainland guys realized a 10 to 13-foot mainland girl that you slow grown, that you didn't slam with food, 20 eggs, perfect size for variety. And no one wants to deal with 20-pound feeders. That's a fucking pain in the ass. My big girl will take 15-pound, 20-pound rabbits, and it's a pain in the ass to source. Then you deal with an 18-foot snake, whereas Andrew said 12, 13-foot snake, not that you can manhandle it, but you kind of can, whereas an 18-foot snake can do whatever an 18-foot snake wants to do.
My 18-foot OGS will do what she wants to do, and it's not, the word dangerous is the wrong word. It's not a dangerous animal, but it can be dangerous to you by yourself. There's There's no denying that. So I've had people at my house, and I'm moving a female like that around. They're like, "What, are you scared, bro?" I'm like, "Absolutely." And they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I'm 75% confident, but I'm still 25% scared. Not scared shitless, but I'm operating out of fear, knowing what that animal can do to something if she wants to do it. Doesn't mean she's going to do it, but a bite from an animal that big is going to be a life-changing situation. You will never not know that happened.
I mean,
a bite from a 7-foot super dwarf male will change your life. You will have that scar the rest of your life. Most likely, if it gets you good.
There are those bites that are just like, yeah, it bleeds, but it's a tiny, tiny bite. And those are the best ones you can possibly get. But then there's the ones where it's the defense bites you don't want, or is it the food bites you don't want? I mean, there's a certain bite that they shred or some shit like that.
It's a male breeding response bite. It's a defensive
for other males or this or that, where they slash.
And that's a 5-foot male would absolutely not be good in the right situation. So I'm more cautious around my smaller males that are rock solid than I am big lazy females that are, full of food getting ready to breed. They're really, but I mean, a 7, 8 foot, I know Jason Gaspar years ago had gotten bit by, I don't know, it was maybe a 9-foot male. It was like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. I think he's had several hand surgeries since then, like 3 or 4 of them. And like I've talked to him a few times, and that was a male. He was going in the tub. It was soaking in water to get a shed off, and right on his hand, and he pulled back. And it doesn't mean the snake doesn't have to be big to do damage, for sure.
So I don't know if you heard this story before, Andrew, but my dad, I had this 10-foot dwarf reticulated by a phantom.
I think I heard you talking about it.
And my dad, as I was in the shower, because my dad loved feeding.
Man, you did your dad dirty, bro. What's up with that?
I didn't, because I mean, bro, you think my dad would listen to like instructions? And I told him, I was like, "This is what you do," and he flipped the script. He's like, "I did it this way." I'm like, "Why? You can't make But here you go, like, you can't make small mistakes like this, bro." And yeah, man, my dad's hand was put in a blender, bro. It was so bad. I'm talking the insides, like you could just see perfect like lashes and just the meat, the white.
Is that a retic?
Yeah, it was a fucking dwarf retic. His name was Zach.
What's the deal on those chondro bites? Would you say those are
shit? I mean, listen, they're deep. They could go deep and they could kind of feel like, wow, that it bruises for a while if it's a deep bite.
You feel the nerves, right? Like it gets down in the nerve endings.
If it goes that deep, but it's really kind of just, I've never had I think on one occasion I got bit by an adult chondro, and it was like, oof, it was like sore. But I gotta tell you, the worst python bite I've ever taken was from a white lip. That my whole fucking hand lit up. It was pretty bad.
I've never even seen one of those in person. They're pretty snakes, though.
Yeah, they're awesome, but they pack a crazy punch behind their bite, and they have the most teeth out of any python species, from what I've heard. So, anyways, yeah, not fun, but just you talk about my dad getting bit, my snake getting loose, and just them getting. I've had them break out. Mind you, too, man. Like, if you don't have your shit dialed in, these fuckers can bust out of anything if they want. It's fucking nuts. And sure enough, man, it would always be something where I'm on my way out the door, and oh my god, there's a missing snake. Or I'm on my way out the door, or it just fucking shit and knocked over all its water, and now it's just there, and I'm out the door. Like, it's something where, like, there was never once where I just left it. I was so paranoid where I would always have to be late or whatever to take care of this fucking thing, and it was always the retics that was doing that to me, bro. 110%. But it's, can't complain. That's what it is. Back
to the super dwarf thing. I think it's going to be awesome, but I think that you're going to have to learn. People like Eric are trustworthy in what they're doing with their situation, but I think in the future you're going to have to really be careful on who you deal with and where you buy from. 100%. For super dwarf stuff, I don't think everybody's going to be honest.
That's already the case right now, buddy. That right now, Andrew, you have to be careful. Like right
now.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's only going to get worse as super dwarfs get more and more popular. People are going to have to police and kind of, go with the people that are trustworthy, that are putting in the effort and actually being truthful about what they have. And if you're gonna, it's you've seen a lot of snakes at shows where you're like that I don't buy that, or even you can't prove otherwise unless it's a pure super dwarf. It's hard to prove. I mean, Eric might be able to pick up on it, but I can't. I mean, how much of what is in what? That's not. There's going to be a lot of new people that get fooled in the first few preliminary rounds. So
That's happening now.
It just dawned on me because I told you guys how I had a shopping spree with Retic, and I actually knew the Mainlands came from Kenny, but what happened to me was I was going to reptile shows, and I bought quote unquote a golden child, I forget the other ones, Sunfire something, super dwarfs, from Triple L Reptiles at the show. Okay.
Oh man.
And so like I said, I always thank Andrew Acevedo for this, but he was the one that tell me like, hey bro, because I was posting everything super dwarf, and he's like, hey man, just so you know, that lavender, that golden child, like he's like, all this shit that you're saying super is not super dwarf. And I was like, of course I was like, oh, you're a hater, because I was like, who the fuck are you? But he was somebody, and he broke it all down to me. And dude, this is
he knows a lot. He knows a lot what he's talking about.
This is 2017, okay? We're talking. Think about how many people who've been duped like my ass was from 2017 to this point. You know what I mean? So it's scary to think. And like I say, Andrew introduced me to Eric, and so you got to be careful. You got to have the right people associated to whatever project, and not only Super Dwarf, but anything, Chondros, even Mainland stuff. Obviously, this is why I enjoy bringing you on the show, because there are still Mainland lovers out there, and we need more people to at least still fuck with these projects. But it has to be from the right people.
Yeah, I got into Retics because they're big. I mean, that was my whole. When you're a kid, that was just the draw. I'm 12 years old. I'm like, I got to get a Retic. I have to have one. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, at this point, what's your overall feeling about the Retic market? I mean, do you feel like we're talking about how prices or something can never go back up? Do you feel like the market as a whole can get out of this little funk that it's been in with
in the next 5 to 7 years, maybe? Not in the next. The economy is going to be in trouble for the next 5 to 7 years outside of Retics, and the Retic market, just like anything else, it follows the economy. Retics are not a necessity; they're a want. So if you don't have money for basic necessities, not everybody, but most people won't buy anything that's reptile related. I think the hobby itself is going to be in a little bit of I don't want to say a funk, but it's going to be in a downturn for a few years. I don't think people are going to have money to blow. I could be wrong. I hope I am wrong. But I think the market's just going to be based on the economy. So money's money. It doesn't really matter. So people that have a lot of money are always going to buy cool shit. They're always going to spend 20 grand on a super dwarf. It doesn't matter how the economy looks. Obviously, somebody that spent 20 grand on a super dwarf cow probably doesn't care about how $5 a gallon gas. But
think about all the people who, God bless the people who have hardworking jobs, but when COVID happened, they got money they've never seen before. You know what I mean? And there's people who spent money freely while they had it. A lot of them on animals.
On animals, stupid shit. Like, you got to figure, like, for them to have the extra money, like, animals are great because, like, you spend the money, then you have to upkeep, but you got other people, like, stuff that continual, costs, like a car or this, that, some crazy ass car payment. But like Andrew said, guaranteed the next 5 years. This is basically where Mainland SCs, it doesn't matter. The breeders are going to set themselves up for we're going to be like in a kind of a slowdown for the next few years. But if you set yourself up, once the economy balances back, and if you kept with those projects, maybe not breeding, but raising the right animals, taking your time, slow growing, and not worrying about breeding. But when the economy bounces back, I think a lot of breeders that are going to stick with it and stick through it are going to be set. For sure, definitely after it comes back.
Yeah, a lot of double. This is a good time to get into double and triple recessive projects. Even quadruple. I mean, Burmese pythons have quadruple recessives. I don't know if they've ever been expressed to their full potential, but I think the long-term 7 to 10 year triple recessive projects are going to be the next big thing because we're out of the United States has no more new genetics. That's over. It's done. Whatever's here is here. There's never going to be. This is the first one imported, and her babies are going to be 30 grand. That's already done. That was last year. Was the last year for that.
Which was Ocelot.
Yeah, and it's awesome, and it's super cool. But I don't think that there's not a new thing coming down the pipe of that excitement level. At least I don't know about any.
How did that even seep into the project, Ocelot? I'm just curious.
I think it was Eric Keister from Fascination. I think he imported what.
I think it was 3.3 or 6.6.
Yeah, I think was it him, and I think Jay was involved. I think. And
Jay had a pair. Aubrey had a pair or two. Eric had a pair. Obviously, Jay bred his. Somebody put theirs up for sale like 5 or 6 years ago for like $6,500. And I was like, oh, that kind of seems cool, but no one really knows if it's going to work. I'm not buying it. I could have totally bought it.
yeah.
And I don't know if it was Aubrey that put it up for sale, but if he did keep it, God bless him, because that was just a good, awesome. So, but it's like, man, to think that anybody could have bought that project for $7,000 back when nobody thought it was going to prove to be anything.
Yep.
It's just crazy. Just crazy.
Yeah, because even the original, when they used to post on Retic Nation, that wild caught one that looks nothing like the rainbows or ocelots we have here, which is that one looked like a Brazilian rainbow boa. The one
It did
all the time.
It looked closer to the ones that Prehistoric had made with their first clutch than the ones that Aubrey had made, which I think the ones Aubrey had made first in New England Reptile had looked better anyway. They had a cooler look to them, definitely. But
what projects right now are you mostly excited for with your own stuff?
Just purple OGS, double recessive stuff, and then I'm planning to add a couple more recessives into that. I'm not gonna say yet, but I have some ideas for some long-term projects. But I hope to have at least one visual in that already, so that I'm only breeding double het to double het, not triple het to triple het. Like if you can get the albino out of the way, then it's a lot easier to add 2 more genes into it. But if you try to breed 2 triple hets together,
That might take years and years.
I don't know. Has anybody ever done it in ball pythons?
What, triples?
Triple recessives?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Which is pretty crazy considering they lay 5 freaking eggs. I mean,
well, because it's a numbers game, bro. Like a lot of these guys, they
hundreds of breeders.
bro, they just sit on that shit, bro. I mean, that's.
But I'm saying, are they breeding triple het to triple het and getting visual animals? Because that's crazy.
I'm not sure. I'm seeing triple het productions out there. There's people going for quads at this point already.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's so much cooler than the Kodam stuff. I mean, half my collection's Kodams, but
right.
Triple recessive, when you make an animal like that, nobody can just look at you and say, yeah, I could do that. You can't do that.
But what do you agree, Andrew, that like let's just speed things up, right? Let's say you have triple recessive shit cracking. There would be a point in time where a certain Kodam would matter. Like you would want like marble. Let's just say marble or something.
Yeah, I'm going to have Kodams in that project anyway, just by default, because the animals already carry other genes.
Right.
But you don't want too much in it either. You don't want to, like, if you're trying to make a triple recessive animal that's absolutely going to have crazy striping, you don't want either animal to have golden child in it, because that's just going to destroy and muddy the waters on everything. So you don't want to overdo it either. If you're trying to hit, whatever it is, you don't want other genes interfering when you're already trying to hit on a hard animal to get.
Where are you at, Eric, from getting a double recessive have you had a double recessive in the SD projects yet?
What do you mean? Well, the snows are double recessive.
The snow's double.
Okay.
So right now I have 2-year-old triple has snow pies. So hopefully I should have visuals maybe in like 3 years. I hope the whole clutch back. So
Are they just straight normal animals right now, or are they both carrying albino already?
no, they're just normal. I have tiger triple heads and GC tiger triple heads. But,
Okay. Well, the GC will work with Pied, but that's probably just going to make it better.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, like I said, I held the whole clutch back. I have all 9 animals, so I mean, when time comes, right now they're 2 years old, and they're still just on wrap-ups. So someday soon they'll get.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's more exciting, those long-term projects.
I mean, even like the clutch I just had right now, like I was hitting on hoping for the marble snows, didn't hit it, but I mean, I'm 9.5 years into it, so, but.
Oh, I didn't know you tried that.
Yeah, no, I ended up getting purple marble heads, and I got possibly the first platinum snows. But I mean, like you said, I mean, half the fun is just chasing that project. I mean, if I could bang it out quick, I'd be like, whatever, yay. But 9 years in, I'm like, fuck it. The next go around, I'm gonna wait until I can try to get 85 or 87% SC like potential marble snows before. So yeah, that's what happened.
That first project, the Marble Motley double hat to the double hat purple OGS. Me and Aubrey had done that project together, down south. Half the clutch didn't make it. We made the most powerful animal that could have been in the clutch, the 4 gene, and it was beautiful, and he still has it. It's a beautiful animal. But I knew that taking Motley out and having marble purple OGS was going to be a special animal. So I just repeated the breeding the next year, and it turned out to be.
Yeah, those are amazing animals.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the one in the picture there that you guys had on the post. I knew that. I had a feeling that snake was going to be the shit and like just be a really interesting look. And it just turned out to be kind of exactly what I thought it would be. I was very fortunate to make 2 or 3 of them. 69 eggs. I didn't even make a normal purple OGS. Everything had marble in it or motley. Or marble motley. I made all the different combos except the base purple OGS, which would have been nice to have a couple sellable animals, but I didn't make any.
So what are all the recesses you work with?
Purple OGS.
Any anthrax stuff?
No, not yet. No, I'd like to add some in. I like purple anthrax animals. I'd like to get a purple anthrax. I think that'd be nice. Or a purple anthrax sunfire. I don't do any Indo Caramel or any orange glow or Mochino. I have a nice big Mochino adult platy tiger female. She's like 8 years old. I never bred her. She was just kind of a good looking animal. I got her right before the ban when John Kernigan had sold a lot of his collection off. You remember John, Eric?
Yeah.
He was another guy that just got right in and then overnight just had a ton of beautiful animals overnight. So it's just I see too many people get in and then they get 30, 40 snakes and then they just get out. And
Why is that, you think?
I think it's harder than people think it is.
Yeah, for sure. Fuck.
I mean, if you get 40 chondros, I mean, it's probably not the drama that, like I talked to Megan last week. I said, I'd like to, after I saw your wall, I thought, man, it's inspiring. It's beautiful. I'd like to have something like that one day with all those snakes like that. It's gorgeous. But that'd be a little more reasonable to have 30 green tree pythons because you can manage it.
These are very easy to manage. I mean,
right. They just kind of hang out, literally. I mean,
yeah. And you know,
and they're good looking and they eat and they're not finicky and they're not really susceptible to a lot of like problems, are they? I mean,
no, and a bite's not going to change your life either.
No, but they're not the kind of animal you really throw over your shoulder either, right? They're not a friendly animal.
All these, I would say for the most part, I'll put any one of these condors around my neck. It's fine.
Okay.
It's all because they're routine. They know, like they obviously. I wouldn't do that with food in the room. I'll tell you that much. You know, they will light you up. You know, and you know there have been the emeralds. You want to talk? We can talk about chondros. The emeralds have been known to fucking put lashes in people, like where you do need stitches.
So which is a better species to get started with, the green tree python or emerald tree boa?
Green tree. I think green tree is the very first. Like it's kind of like, all right, there's a lot more room for error, even though there's really not, but still, like green. Like my first green tree, which is right here, Mimi. I for the first year and a half fed her every week. I fed the living shit out because I just didn't know. I thought everything was like a ball python. Fed her every week. She had 2 bulbs, like fucking just cooking her, right? I had a daytime bulb and then a red bulb because I thought that was cool, right? And then I was just like, she was always mean, and I was like, well, what a bitch. And then once I adjusted everything and gave her what they normally like, which is, I mean, the hottest spot in there right now is 84. You know what I mean? On the other side, it's like 76. And you'll catch them on both sides. Like right now, this one's on the 76 side. You know what I mean? So they're just not. It's not something you could overthink, right? Like obviously there are chondros that can't deal with that kind of like hot spots, and some of them will crash. It's a P.H.A.T. P.H.A.T are strong locality green tree python, so I got away with it. Now for an emerald, bro, a lot of things could go wrong with emeralds because for the most part, people are buying emeralds at a show. People aren't buying emeralds from a breeder because there's not too many people breeding them. So when you buy it from a show, that thing more than likely cannot digest any meals. They're brought in with birds. They're brought in with all this other shit. Where a lot of these emeralds, bro, it's a 50-50 shot that this thing's not going to make it.
Okay.
And we're talking like it's sad because you just got an animal who can't hold down its meal. It just literally pukes every time, and it's deteriorating from the inside out. Like that, the animal might stay alive. And here's the thing: people think, oh man, it can hold really small meals now. But I'm like, no, you give that thing what it needs to eat, and it pukes. So people just try to underfeed it, but you don't understand how bad that is. Like that is so bad to do that. Like that animal it needs to go. It's done after that,
Yeah, retics are the same way. Regurges are not good. Sometimes they can make it through, but it's not a good thing. It's bad.
I mean, I've never even seen a regurg on a retic. I thought they're fucking. That has to be bad if a retic regurges on there, right?
Normally bad feeders for the most part, I think.
Yeah, it's almost like their body knows that feeder is shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
But you know,
I'm interested to hear your opinion on, since we're talking about the hobby and the market. Since you're a retic guy, but you're also an everything, a lot of other stuff guy. What's your opinion on the retic community, the people? Since you have a removed perspective.
I mean, I think it's fucking hilarious on certain, and because everyone has an opinion, right? You got so many people who are like gun ho over certain things. Where first and foremost, no one's perfect. I hate that the retic Mainland world and the SD world is completely separate. Like for the most part, it sort of is. But
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I mean, I don't know. To me, I think it is. I mean, I think they appreciate it, but SD, I don't know. SD people seem a little different than Mainland people. Call me crazy, but I see that slightly different because I feel like Mainland people are still OG Snake people from like the 90s and like they're fucking, they don't give a fuck about social media, but they're here because they have to be here.
And we just live in a trailer and drink Monster Energy drinks or what?
Bro, they drink fucking Miller Lite.
Is that what you're saying?
Fucking Fireball and shit every night. But I'm saying, like, I just feel like that's more of the organic side of the retic world. And then we have the SD world, which, I mean, I've had talks with Acevedo about this, and he hated calling them super dwarfs, and he would call them locality specific. That's because, him and his buddy Rodney, they would talk about that. And so I was always confused. I'm like, well, are these super dwarfs or what are they? So I don't like how, and I'm not talking to anyone who labeled them super dwarf, but I'm just saying, like, is locality specific a better name than super dwarf? Because super dwarf seems to rub some people the wrong way, obviously. So I don't know. I mean, I'm honestly don't know how to feel about the situation. I just know my part in this game, and it's this SD game. I'm a part of keeping them smaller, not bigger, because I'm a pussy. I can't handle it. I'm gonna say right now, I don't want that smoke. I already had it, and I don't want it. I mean, this thing could still fuck me up. I mean, I can still get fucked up by an SD, but I don't know. I'm in this for the business side of things too. I mean, I also want to feed every project with the project, and that's what it is. Everything I've made money-wise, for the most part, goes back into what I'm doing. Mainland, no offense to you because you have that name, but me, I ain't making money on Mainland at all. Period. Me personally, just because it's something where so many people are doing it. So many people, and I don't know. I think I had one direction with the Mainlands, and that was Anthrax. I was very obsessed with the Anthrax project, and that's what I wanted to do. And I was really sad to see me let go of that project, but then that's when I ran into Jake, and I saw all his Anthrax stuff, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And I don't think I would have wanted to be a Jake in the game. I would want to be someone who has a foundation, and I had no foundation with Mainlands. I wanted, you know what I mean, just so. Either way, I'm happier where I'm at. Maybe because I got good mentorship and I have my circle of like SD homies, and I'm good. You know what I mean? And I feel like everyone should find their place. Go find where you feel comfortable at. Like you got homies like Shane. You were brought into this with the best in the retic game, and I just appreciate what I know, and I just love the SD stuff, But I also trust me, I love the Mainland stuff.
What do you think about the people? What do you think about? Do you have an issue? Do you see like the people are doing? There's a lot of we've always kind of been labeled as like it's like a separate group. The retic guys are going out to dinner at Tinley. The retic guy,
yeah, it's all politics. For sure. You guys are the whole hobby has politics, and not really politics, but like groups, like
cliques.
Yeah, little cliques, and that's fine. And what's crazy is when you're into everything, you're exposed to all these cliques. I know the ball python people, I know the chondro people, I know the retic people. Never really gone out with retic people. I hung out with you, Eric, but Eric is kind of like, Eric does his thing, and it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like even if I did kick it with a lot of retic people, Eric is Eric Lee. There's only one Eric Lee. That's why I love Eric Lee so much. Same with you, Andrew. Like, I hit it off with you where I feel like there's only one Andrew. And so I don't know, man. I don't commit myself to one group, but there are groups in this, and you know that. So, and trust me, I've heard chondro people talking about retic people. Then I've had people who just with the most recent drama tell me like, oh man, like I don't want none of this retic bullshit. Like it's always the retic people. You know what I mean? So
that's what I'm saying, right? Yeah.
You hear that too. You know what I mean? But then you have people who say ball python people are funny. Look at these fucking drama. You know what I mean? So it's humans, bro.
I mean, ball python people are kind of at the top as far as like running a serious business.
For doing the most less work.
Yeah. But they seem to have the best business practices in the hobby. The guys that are running the most serious businesses are ball python guys. Like,
look who leads, and this is nothing against who leads. Well, I mean, there's really no leader. Like look who the ball python people have, right? Justin.
Yeah, he's my favorite as far as
he is a monster behind marketing, and like, dude, you can't help. All he does is catch more ball python people in. He just reels these people in with every video. There's nobody doing that with mainlands.
Like, you really can't with the mainlands.
I mean, yeah, you can't.
Ball pythons lends itself to being really easy because, like you said, they don't really do shit. Like, if you're to have a wall of 100, like 500 ball python breeders,
you can walk away for a week.
Yeah, you do 500 mainland retics. Dude, you need 100-some people, 40, 50 hours a week just to maintain a clean, not like perfect. Just mainland retics don't lend itself to that kind of business model where you could have, like, you see the videos Justin puts out.
Yeah. That
facility's immaculate, and that whole wall is lined with breeders. I would never in my right mind ever want that many mainland retics because, that amount of work.
You wouldn't want that many retics at all, period.
Yeah,
any retic.
Yeah, just as, like you said, with the overproduction, can you imagine, like, if you had 10 of your girls dropping 50, 60, 70 egg clutches, just the maintenance on those hatchlings alone was a full-time job on top of, taking care of your breeders. That's why I don't ever think the retic side of it will ever get to, like, ball python people, because retics just aren't a good business model for everyone because they're already overproduced and you can't maintain them like you would other animals every way. Less maintenance and less upkeep, less liability if you had employees handling some 18, 19 footer that they don't know what the hell they're doing.
I mean, it's true.
No, I think that. But I'm saying you look at guys like Justin and the ball python guys that are running a professional business. They actually carry themselves in a way where, like, they don't talk shit about other people. They don't get involved in dramatic situations.
It's always business. It's not.
It's about the animals, and it's about the projects, and it's about being successful, and it's about talking to people and interacting with people. And he doesn't know me, but I met him at the show, and I was talking to him. He didn't treat me like I wasn't even a ball python guy. He knew that, but it's not like, oh, you're not going to buy anything, go away. Like, it's just, I think a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people in the retic hobby lately making posts on Facebook about how annoyed they were that other people came up to them at the show and bought a retic from someone else, but then asked them a bunch of questions. So what?
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
So help people. If you're not going to, if you buy a retic from me, I'll help you. That's not the way business works. I know it because I run my own business.
I mean, any business.
All businesses are the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Construction business and selling snakes, it's the same thing. You're providing value. The money is a byproduct of the result.
Right.
If you don't help people, don't expect them to give you their money.
Right. Don't expect someone to invest into you when you won't invest into them.
You're not selling something rare here. I mean, it's not. For ball pythons, even worse.
Yeah.
You better know what you're selling when you're selling ball pythons if you're going to get anywhere. I mean, there's not a shortage of ball pythons available. So when you buy a retic or a ball python from some of these awesome breeders, it's like you feel like you're getting, and that was what Ben Retic did. You felt like you were getting a whole experience. When you got a package from Ben Retic, it was a snake, a T-shirt, a clear plastic business card. I still have one. It was like rock solid. You couldn't even bend it. Like, he spent money and didn't care about it. He just made sure it was right. And that was what was so awesome about, like, certain people like that. They have a whole brand behind what they're doing. You felt like you got like a giant package in the mail. There was a snake in there, but there was like 10 other things. You had a keychain. You just felt like, it was super professional, and there's still some guys doing it. It's awesome.
What do you, it's been a while since I've heard Ben's name on my show, and I rest in peace to the legend, right?
Yeah.
How did you ever first come across Ben?
I think I was just met him. I walked around Tinley, and he had the first Sunfire Ghost. Do you remember that, Eric?
I do.
The Retic Ghost Sunfire.
Retic line?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
And it was like, it wasn't quite as cool as the regular Retic Ghost with the white head, but it was still really cool because it was the first like codom that was added into Ghost. And I just remember talking to him about it and asking him how much he wanted. And I think it was like $15,000 at the time or whatever it was.
You're like, well, good talking to you.
Yeah. But it was just like, he was just it was another kind of person that was at such a high level, but didn't treat you any different.
Right.
Whether because you didn't have your wallet out. or he didn't know what kind of money he could make off you. He didn't really care.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up doing things properly long term and making big money, is taking care of people first, and then the snakes get sold.
Yep.
So I see people talking shit online. Oh, fuck these customers. All they do is message me all day and never buy shit.
It's crazy.
You're not in the fucking right game, dude. You don't have the right framework to run a business.
Yep.
So what are you doing? Are you just making snakes and selling them at the local show for a couple $100 and going out drinking beer afterwards? Or are you running a business? Those are two different things.
I'll tell you one thing that pushed me far away, not far away, but I was like, dude, what's up with this Mainland fucking community? Because, and I don't want to say that this guy was really a part of the community. I'm not going to mention his name because we're all about positivity, but I will say that this guy was quite out there. And the only examples I'll give was how much he talked shit about his customers. And I'm like, dude, how the fuck do you talk shit and still expect to stay in business? And like, just call him cheap and like all this shit. I'm just like, and it was kind of entertaining, I'm not gonna lie, because it was like, oh my god, like, you know what I mean? And like, it was just nuts. And the guy, he would rap on the show. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm saying, like, it was just nuts how he would complain about people who pay him. And then it got so bad where he's just like, I'm just gonna sell all my stuff, fuck everything. I'm like, I saw this coming. I was like, you talk shit about your own people, like that's not
right.
Cool.
You're self-destructing online. People post way too much stuff on Facebook now about their opinions on stuff that no one really gives a shit about. And because now that I'm in the entrepreneurial space and I'm running my own business, and I get more interested in watching other people run businesses, and it's I'm able to pick up the really good ones, and they're inspiring to look at, and then other ones it's like, man, this guy, it's not going to work.
Just one thing that, I'm only thinking this because what I just mentioned is like one thing that pushes me away too is when someone involves so much of their personal life into the snakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's because, I get it. We all have that customer. We all have someone who's fucking like, what a waste of time that was. But like, fucking raving about it and showing screenshots and all that shit. It just makes everything look like a joke. You know what I mean? And that's pretty common nowadays. It's just like, look at this asshole on MORPH Market. You know what I mean? Or just kind of like, don't fucking be in here. If you can't sell something, then don't. If you can't hack it, don't be in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of time, just because the first 5 people can come up to you and none of them look like they have any money, none of them look like they're going to buy anything, but you don't know that for sure.
Right.
And a good breeder will not treat anyone different, and a good breeder will not just assume, oh, this guy's not going to buy shit, I'm not going to talk to him. You're at a reptile show, you're there to talk to people anyway. And don't underestimate anybody nowadays who does have money or doesn't. You don't know how they look, how they're dressed. It doesn't mean anything. My first retic I ever sold at a show was a pair of Motley double het purple OGSs that were just kind of extras from the clutch. We made a bunch. Some kid walks up to me. He's like 15, 16. No, he's probably 18 years old. He was like from Colorado or something at Tinley. I never knew his name. He's like, what do you want for that pair? I'm like, $1,200. I spoke 3 words to this kid. He pulled $1,200, $100 bills out of his pocket, hands them to me, grabbed the deli cups. I was like, thanks, man, and just walked away. And it's like, I could have looked at him and said, this kid doesn't want, I don't know this. No, you don't know. You don't know. He knew what he wanted. He came up to the table. He had the money and he bought it.
Yeah.
And then you have other guys that talk to you for an hour and don't spend a dime. But that's okay, because maybe they'll call you. Maybe they'll call you next month after the show.
I think the biggest mistake anyone can make, no matter what they're breeding, is think about the profits. Like you got people who go to a show with the expectations of a certain number they want to hit to cover the cost of traveling, and I expect that, right? But I mean, I don't know, man. Like, there's these kind of expectations could really ruin your life. Like, it could really, like, you think about people who only sell snakes, and only just really rely on this kind of income.
Well, that's the problem with the retic game, is people who are breeding retics for their sole income are in, unless you're have a niche, you're in deep shit.
Yep, right. Oh.
Unless you live in the middle of nowhere and you can live on 15, 20 grand a year. Which is fine, but there ain't a lot of people cracking 6 figures selling retics.
Oh, no.
And I think you probably need that to live in California, right? Or get close to it.
Minimum.
I don't know. I don't live there, but in Chicago, you know.
You can't even get into trailer homes with that less money right now, bro. Like, it's not good over here.
Right. That's what I mean. So I think relying on retics as your sole source of income, and I know I'm not going to say any names, but I know people that in the hobby that are, I don't know them personally, but I know of them, and there's a lot of blowout sales, a lot of flash sales, a lot of Memorial Day specials, and oh, it was $1,500, but I'll let it go for today for $400 shipped all day long. You see that shit everywhere.
But as a buyer, that could be a good thing, though, right? Like if
it's awesome. Yeah, if you want that one retic, yeah.
That's why I also say on the flip side of things, this is a good time for people to buy, if anything. Like if they got the space, the money, the time to invest.
You have the cash up front and you can negotiate, absolutely. That's with anything, car, house, whatever. But yeah, right now I think you can, but then again, there's a lot of other stuff that people are still maintaining the value on, some of these higher end projects that people I know aren't going to dump that shit off for cheap.
What would you say one high end project you feel like the best about in the Mainland Retic game? Like what's obviously you have the ones that are probably on the fence or just not going to be up to par, but what are one project in the Mainland game that you're pretty confident and happy about?
I don't know. I'm not really into any of the new stuff. It's cool. I just don't have any of it. Obviously the Ocelot's out now, the Blue Hypo, but
Blue Hypo? What's that? What's a Blue Hypo? Blue Hypo?
Yeah, another recessive.
It's a pretty nice looking recessive, but again, none of them really grabbed me enough to go spend my money on it because I easily could have picked something up last year. I just
who discovered that or started
Bob Clark.
Bob Clark. Wow. Yeah. I mean, overall, Andrew, what would you say to anyone out there who because as much as
one other thing about
good.
Value in animals in the hobby, one of the biggest reasons I think projects get tanked early is trading. I think it's an unpopular opinion. I don't know about you, Eric, but when you trade a bunch of babies for a high-end animal, you're not placing a dollar value on it. You didn't have to. You made some babies and you traded them to this guy and you got this cool shit, but you didn't literally hand over physical dollar bills for that animal. So you don't have an ROI that you need to hit.
Wow.
If you make 10 of them and sell them for 800 rip, you're thrilled because you just made $8,000 and you didn't spend any money. You traded it for 30 normals or whatever to a big breeder. So I would say trading big breeders that are trading people high-end shit and not taking any money for it long-term hurts the hobby because there's not any money flowing through. There's not really a lot of money flowing through the hobby period right now. And I don't mean you made $2,500 at a show. That's not a lot of fucking money. It doesn't even pay your rent. I'm saying serious money. There's not a lot of that going on. There's some guys making serious money, but not many. And if you just continue to give out a bunch of high-end genetics as per trade, then it brings the value down. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but when you don't hand over dollar bills for something, it feels different.
Well, that and you end up, creating your own competition down the road where if you're smart, especially with Mainland, SE, whatever, like any of the high-end stuff, if you're selling just the females, then you're fine. You're not worrying about competition. You sell that male, that person is going to crank that male out, try to breed them 6 months, 9 months, whatever it is, make P.H.A.T or whatever. But that's why even with my higher-end stuff, I'll sell females and not worry about it. But people are like, hey, how much is a male? Oh, he's not available. Why? Because I say so. It's not a dollar amount. It's just like I'm keeping the integrity of that project, like you said. Right. If I start selling everything from the very first clutch, second clutch, whatever, within, whatever, he can crank out that male as fast as possible. He's making P.H.A.T or whatever. For that same reason, you got to be smart. Like everything's a stepping stone. Where if you're on a ground floor project, okay, I'll sell a couple females. It doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form because they can't do shit with a female.
Yeah, unless it pops male a year later, then you're screwed. But
then you're screwed.
But I think protecting your own projects is the way to go if you want to be the first to make it. I mean, so many people that. And I think just focusing on one or two genes is the way to go. Look at what Shane's done with Sunfire and, you've done with the Snow, and which is 2 genes, which is awesome. But I think so many people are like, well, I got one of these. I got one of, they're dabbling. I got one of these. I got this. I got that going. And they have 30 different genes in their snake room. And that's awesome. But you'll never crush the guy and be the best if you're focused on too much shit. Shane only cares about a few genes, and they're all and look at what he's done.
Exactly.
And there's just no way you can't replace the focus he has on that. I'm not going to go get a bunch of snakes and be like, yeah, I'm going to make sunfires that are better than his next year. I know it. It's just not. You know what I mean? It's because I'm not in love with the project. I don't focus on it the way he does, and that's why he's had so much success. And it's just, I think people are just diversifying too much and trying to do too many different projects, and then they don't really they don't really perfect one of them. They just have a lot of stuff for sale.
Yeah, the thing about the ball python game, it kind of looks like one big major rat race, right? Just like a bunch of people chasing the other person's or the next person's thing. There are a handful, or not few people, who are just focusing on those few morphs and just making the best versions of those morphs and really dedicating their time. And I think that's the best way to not be a part of that whole other shit that people are chasing,
Yeah, Justin has like what, 3 or 4, 5 genes that he's really.
There's a handful. It's a little bit more than that. The guy's a monster, bro.
Well, he's got 9 genes in one snake, but it's like they seem to work together. It's not just a big mashup of crap.
Yeah.
It's like he knows he takes the next step, but not before he needs to take it. It's crazy.
Like we're talking about recessives being the future and the move, right? But this guy's finding fucking codon shit that's now outdoing some of this recessive shit.
That died 20 years ago, and he brought it back and gave it life again. It's crazy. I don't even know a lot about ball pythons, but from what I've heard, he's like taking genes that no one cared about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and adding them into stuff like, chemistry class and just making crazy shit that no one thought was possible. It's really, really cool to see.
Yeah. I'm going to get a wrap-up question for Andrew, if you want to get one ready. Check it out, Andrew. Wrap-up question for you. Anyone out there who's just now kind of dabbling into the bending side of things, talking about shows earlier, right? What's your opinion on kind of, we're talking about being that person who just looks for a wallet, and then there's that person who looks for maybe kind of being more of the helper side of things, right? How does one do that without kind of, I don't know, what's just the best way to get in a groove of that? Just starting and bending, because you got a lot of people who just aren't people. Like you got a lot of people who just don't like to put themselves out there. But at the end of the day, you have to.
I think your display and your setup at the table at your booth is everything. The way, I don't remember. Were you around when Chris Brown from Vital used to set up? Were you?
No, I've never seen it. I've seen pictures.
It was unbelievable. It was like hours of work, but it was like you were walking into a zoo at Tinley. You're like, oh shit, what is that? And it's just this crazy wall, these monitors everywhere, naturalistic. There's smoke machines going through the monitors displays while they're climbing around. Just, you don't have to do that, right? That was an extreme case of hard work, but just putting effort into your display and making people want to come look at your stuff it's a lot of work. Like me and Megan have been focusing on it a lot lately. We spent a lot of time and effort this year building a new display where everything's kind of in one, and we can bring big animals to the show to bring people in. And that's not going to sell you a lot of snakes, right? People that want a retic already know what big retics look like, but it's going to bring a lot of children in, a lot of people that don't even really care about buying a snake, but it's just an inspiring thing to look at.
I love Megan's table. I will say, I appreciate how bright and lit up it is. And
eye-catching for sure.
I always love going out.
Thank you. Yeah, I sold 1 retic at Tinley this year. That's okay. I covered the booth, and that was literally it. I didn't make any money, but I had fun and got to meet really cool people, have people look at my stuff, and it's nice to have good feedback from people. When you make something and you work hard to make it, it's nice to have people tell you, hey, this looks cool. And but I think going forward, we're going to see a lot more like naturalistic setups at shows. Garrett does a really nice job.
I was going to say, Garrett Hartle always has one of the, if not the nicest booth every single time. Nobody outdoes that guy, bro. It's like
that one super dwarf guy, Metcalf Reptiles, does a really nice job.
Yeah,
Aaron. There's a few that are just like really nice.
Aaron Metcalf, is that Black Diamond?
No, it's Metcalf Reptiles.
Oh, it's Metcalf Reptiles.
Yeah, I don't know where he's from. It's somewhere in the Midwest, but
I think Nebraska. I think could be wrong.
Yeah, and then I think display. It's just fun. It's just fun to have something different and to put in the effort and have people come and enjoy it and see big retics at the shows. They're obviously locked under heavy lock and key. I don't bring them out.
Right.
I get a lot of requests to, but I think it's a liability. I think bringing a 9 or 10 foot retic out in a crowd is a liability, in my opinion. When you're surrounded by hundreds of people, I'm not talking about 10 people, I'm hundreds of people. The animals just sometimes don't react properly. It's not their fault. I mean, what would you do? You know, dogs too. I mean, you see a dog in a room, they freak out when there's hundreds of people. They're not all made for that.
Last year at Anaheim Super Show, did you go to Anaheim Super Show last year?
You did, I don't think so.
There was a fucking guy walking around with a 9-foot croc monitor on his shoulder. Just hey, trust me, this is the coolest thing. He's calm. Dude, I don't care. Like, that's just the one thing. Like, dude, do you understand a bite from that thing? What can happen? I don't know.
I mean, a croc monitor of that size would literally.
I'm talking full grown, bro. I'm talking a full adult croc monitor.
I don't know for sure, but I feel like that would take your fingers like clean off your hand.
I mean, look out in the Crutchfield. He tried separating his pair from going at it, and he got like a quick nick, and his damn fingers looked like roast beef. They were like turned inside out. It was crazy. Yeah. Trust me, I have experience from a big monitor bite. It's not good.
Yeah, I love monitors. I just don't have them.
I love them to death, too, but you got to always respect the monitor. I'll tell you that much.
You have just lace monitors there?
I have lace monitors, yeah. I have,
no Crocs, no waters?
No, I'm good. Because, I trust me, Croc monitor is probably my favorite monitor, but it's like, so is a Komodo dragon, right?
Yeah, but we don't have them.
I know, but still, like, even though, like, okay, even if you could get a Komodo dragon, Komodo dragon needs my whole backyard. Like, that thing has territories that it roams. I mean, even my laces, right? But I would not want to. I don't know, maybe I'm full of shit, but unless I could dedicate my whole backyard to the Komodo, I'm not keeping a Komodo.
I mean, just liability alone.
And yeah, bro. I don't know. And even with, I don't know, I feel like a croc monitor is like almost to that Retic level. I mean, they can be kept, don't get me wrong, but holy, that's not an average monitor. By all means, that is not an average monitor. That's probably top of the top, I feel like, of a croc monitor.
The croc?
I think, yeah. I don't, because listen, they even compare Croc's bite being worse bites than Komodo's.
Yeah, it's like got the pit bull strength of the monitor world, or just the teeth, the amount of teeth and how sharp they are. It's pretty neat.
They compare teeth, and Croc's teeth are like the way they curve and their edge, like they are the real deal Holyfield, man.
Yeah, you don't want it.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm just saying, just be careful, anyone out there. Just be responsible, please. Yeah. What's your question for Adam, bro?
So, Andrew, what do you think?
Andrew, my bad. Call me Adam.
Going forward for the mainland side, if you're getting into it, or someone that wants like that longevity, like you're talking about, what do you think is the best approach for them?
I think spending money, getting high quality double recessive females that are already visual, because I think a lot of problems is people get hets. New people in the hobby, they want to make cool stuff, right? And they're like, I'm going to get a pair of double hets, and that's cool. But you have to have the temperament to want to stare at a pair of normal retics for 3 or 4 years. So I would even, if you're new in retics, purple albinos just never going to get old. They're always going to be a beautiful snake. They're always going to sell for $350 at a show. I don't think they should ever be any less than that. And you can have a 14 or 12 foot purple female, and it's a beautiful animal. Or you can have a purple motley or a purple anthrax. Like, if you can get something like that, and you're going to have more fun staring at that. I mean, I stared at a normal double het purple OGS female for 9 years before she, I bred her 8 years, and I still have her. She was produced by Shane, 2013.
Nice.
But it's crazy to see how much beauty can come out of a double het when you actually hit on the genes. I'm sure with snow stuff. You breed 2 normals together and you get a snow, and it's just like, it's unbelievable what can come out.
Absolutely.
And I think people getting into retics now, doesn't matter super dwarf or not. I think starting out with 2 or 3 nice animals is the way to go. Don't go ball python heavy. That was my mistake. I made that mistake. I put way too much responsibility on myself too soon, and I persevered through it. But a lot of people, they just won't. I just had the grit to just say, you know what, I'm coming home and cleaning snakes tonight. I got 12 dirty cages. I'm going to clean 6 tonight and 6 tomorrow. And, the 6 dirtiest ones get, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The 6 dirtiest ones get cleaned first. And the ones where there's a dried up urate or turd in the corner, it's not hurting anybody, then I'm going to do those next. And I think if you just have to, problem is a lot of people have like 40 retics. They try to clean them all in one night.
They get burnt out.
And they get burned. They're tired. They're going to bed at 2 a.m. when they got to get up for work at 6:30. And they're burned out. So me, I'm gonna ignore stuff that's not hurting the animal first, and I'm gonna clean the real dirty stuff, and then I'm gonna move on. That way I can I'd rather get 10 cages perfected and cleaned beautifully than just kind of half-ass them all. You know what I mean? I like to scrub the corners and scrape the stuff out when I can.
Yeah, also too, like a lot of people who try to get that all done in one night are rushing. They're rushing their asses off. And when you rush, that's when things happen, man. That's when you're not in tension. That's when you get bit. Like you don't rush that shit, bro.
I've only ever been bitten when I was in a hurry, and I've never been bit by a snake that was bigger than 6 feet, 7 feet. So I've been lucky. Because when I do start working with the big snakes and cleaning them, I automatically shut my brain off, and I'm no longer in a hurry. I'm not getting ready for work. I'm done with work for the day. I'm home.
You're in the zone.
Yeah.
I'm in the zone. All my other cats are locked. Animals are locked up. Because once I've had big females that didn't go the direction I want them to go, and you're pretty much at their mercy when they're just tearing up your snake room and knocking stuff over. You're not going to fix that. You're just going to have to let her go do what she wants to do.
Becomes a wrestling match.
Yeah, but I usually won't even do that. I'll just let them do their thing and kind of let them chill out, and then they'll kind of just guide them. I kind of guide them because that's all you can do with a big snake. You just guide it. You're really not in control.
Yep. You literally just redirect them.
It's like venomous snakes. You're not really in control. You're just kind of.
Okay. Also, and this wasn't too bad, but it was just kind of like, well, I'm not going anywhere. Where it'd be like when I'm solo, trying to delegate, because I would kind of always gamble. Like I always felt like, I have the best behaved mainlands ever. I plot them on this table and then they stay. But yeah, there would be one case where I turn around for a split second and it's behind my fucking rack. And once these fuckers wrap onto something, bro, you're fucked.
Yeah,
Unless you move that whole rack out and you start tickling them, bro. If you start, and what's crazy, the more you pull, the tighter they get, and you're
less is more when you're in that situation. The less you do,
let them
let the snake do the work.
Yeah.
So
Jesus. All right, listen, this has been an amazing hour and 42 minutes. I do want to do hot seat questions with you, though. Are you cool with that? Can we do some hot seat questions before you dip out?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I normally don't do them on this segment, but this is my first time having you on the show, so I want to do them. And then Eric, you're gonna think of the very last hot seat question for him, okay? So just you have time, but think of the very last hot seat question for Andrew. Andrew, hot seat questions. Are you ready for these? Yeah, get your RC Cola in, buddy.
Yeah, it's RC or Coke. I'll say Coke.
Okay, here we go. Hot seat questions coming in hot. Frozen thought or live?
Never live unless you need to.
Ideal meal you feed your adult retic python?
Frozen thawed pigs.
Red chondro or yellow chondro?
What's that?
So a red baby green tree python or a yellow baby green tree python?
Oh, red.
Yay imports or boo imports?
Wild caught animals, you mean?
So if it came down to you saying, okay, we could bring imported animals to the United States or not, what would you say if it was up to you?
Imports.
One reptile you would love to import to your collection anywhere around the world, what would it be?
Probably one of the more rare pythons from Australia that we can't get here.
What about one reptile nobody should ever import? Leave it alone. Don't touch it.
I don't think any. I think we're.
You think people should keep sea turtles, bro? What's wrong with you?
No, I'm talking. That's an ocean animal. We're talking about reptiles.
That's a reptile, though.
Yeah, in theory it is.
There you go, buddy. Got you.
If you had a 1,000,000-gallon aquarium, I'd say maybe a sea turtle would fit in that.
Like Ace Ventura, like that tank in Ace Ventura.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, great white shark, yeah.
Oh my God. To miss or spray a retic or to never miss or spray a retic?
Only unless I'm struggling to get off a really bad shed. I don't really see the need.
What was the prime year for the retic MARC community? What was the best year for you in the retic community?
The best for me, I don't really have a year. For the hobby, I'd say between 2013 and 2016 was like the peak of when everything was selling for a good price, and there was just all sorts of new stuff popping up overnight.
Yay sports or boo sports?
I don't watch sports.
Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
Boo alcohol.
Wow. Fuck, dude. I told you guys. Just kidding. I that's probably a good thing.
I don't hate it. I just don't do it. It's not for me.
I hear you. Steak or fish?
Snakes, but I really want to get some fish.
No. Steak. Like steak? Eat
Oh,
steak?
I thought you said keep fish.
No.
Steak. I eat steak 6 days a week.
There you go.
Favorite cut of steak?
All right. Yeah.
Favorite cut of steak?
New York strip.
Nice. Van Halen or Sammy Hagar? Just got to pick one. Give me one.
I've never heard a Sammy Hagar song, so Van Halen.
Thank you. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
East Coast.
Little word association. First thing to come to mind, milk.
Milk?
Yes.
I just use it to make hamburger helper. I don't drink it. Got a whole gallon of
Substrate.
paper.
FedEx shipping.
Never had a problem.
Favorite Mainland Retic breeder? Can't say yourself.
I was thinking about saying one just to piss you off, but I ain't gonna do it. Jay Brewer.
Oh man, do you mean it? Do you really mean it, or you just? I mean, I'll give you props if you mean it. Is that your favorite? You
No,
sure?
I was just saying. I do actually like prehistoric pets though.
Okay, we'll respect. All right, we'll give you. That. You already said Jay, bro, so we have to continue now. That's okay. Instagram trolls. Or you don't even do Instagram, do you?
I have one. I haven't posted in 3 or 4 years.
Facebook trolls. How about Facebook trolls? How about let's do Facebook trolls?
I don't let them. I don't think anybody should let them bother them. I think that's a problem. I think you need to just ignore it. If we ignored them, they'd go away.
If you had to eliminate one recessive out of the Retic world forever, you could never bring this recessive back, what would it be?
It'd be that weird clown thing that somebody brought in years ago that never looked like anything but a normal. Eric knows what I'm talking about.
There was a clown Retic?
Yeah.
What?
It looked like a normal with a weird back pattern.
Yeah, it was an open back pattern. I think Eric Keiser brought that one in too.
Yeah, it was like they were really reaching. I mean, it was something, but
It was more like an enhancer, kind of like a pastel, more than I say like.
kind of like citrus. Yeah, like the citrus gene.
All right, Eric, end it.
Okay, hybrid or no?
No.
What about you, Eric? Hybrid or no?
They're cool. I'll never own one. I'll never make them. But they're cool. Some are cool. Some are just no.
Yeah, I mean, what shit? But there's bad eaters, obviously, but then there's what are the African rock ones called? There's some crazy
Cat
names.
eater.
Cat eater, whatever. Oh, favorite retic breeder that I think has brought in more cool animals and had a bigger influence on retics than anyone else. New England Reptile.
Okay, a little late, but you did it. It's all good.
Just got to give them.
Andrew, thank you so much. This has been an amazing time. I just want to say, what do you have to say to everyone who tapped in tonight? Everyone showing you love and support. And also, what do you have to say to Mrs. Stamm Megaconda?
We're gonna come on together next time.
Yes, I'm down for that. Say less.
She works really hard and she's done a phenomenal job. I'm super proud of her. We've done a few shows together already, and it's just gone really well.
I love it.
She's like me. She wants everything at the booth to be perfect and puts in the effort. And we get there, and we set up, and it's just gone really well. So I'm super proud of her and all her efforts, and all the stuff she's done with the anacondas and retics. So.
And all you rest of your people, go kiss our asses. We don't care about you. It's just all about Megaconda. So.
Yeah, Mr. Megaconda here in November. So
Nice, congrats, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
Can't wait. Well, listen, enjoy the rest of your night. It's a wrap for our buddy Andrew Stamm, ladies and gentlemen.
Stamm.
I said Stamm. I think Stamm sounds more professional. I'm sorry.
You're not wrong.
Sounds designer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay, Andrew Stamm, ladies and gentlemen, give it up.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
All right, later,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Good night, man.
Later.
You guys too. Take care.
I don't even know why I came up with Stamm. I just felt like I had to say it.
It's European now.
It's European. Good episode. What do you think about tonight?
That was good.
We got a lot of mainland talking.
Yeah.
Which is good.
No, Mainland is good. I still love mine. I have mine that I'm never gonna do anything with, but
Yeah.
she'll stay with me forever.
I want to ask you, Eric, before we end these tonight, what has always been your view on the term super dwarf? I mean, you don't mind it, or do you feel like it's a little marketing catchy, or what?
It's a marketing term. Locality stuff, because right now everyone's so specific in terms of whatever super dwarf label they want.
Yeah.
I think it just makes it easier if you're saying 75% Calico instead of saying 75% SD. But as soon as you throw the SD, first question on every post is what locality.
Right.
So to bypass that, you can just say
The locality.
percentage, locality, break it down that way.
Cool.
I mean, if you don't know, then you don't know. Because I have 3 pure SDs that were from 2003 imports. I just call them SDs, and people always ask, well, what locality? No idea. Like, the parents are 7 feet, and they're proven, but yeah, they're from 2003 imports that didn't come with anything. So, but if you know it, just put it out there. It makes it easier.
Yep. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure you go give Eric Lee a follow. SD Snow King on Instagram, Eric Lee on Facebook. Go follow the Trap Talk God 619 page as well on Instagram, and the podcast's page, Trap Talk Podcast. If you're looking for exclusive content, if you'd like to get more than what you see at every podcast, go to the very first link you see in the description below. Join the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, which taps with over 160 trappers, real deal reptile keepers, all for the love of the animal. And it's great. It's growing. But Eric, thank you so much. I had a good night. And also, Andrew, thank you so much. I had a good night. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Have a good rest of your week. We're out.